If you've ever heard of grape harvest and winemaking, if you've ever visited a winery's cellar door or talked to a winemaker or any wine connoisseur, you've probably heard them talking about harvesting those grapes during the night, picking those grapes under the stars. The other day, in the comments of one of our most popular videos where I discussed whether French wine is better than Italian wine or is it the other way around, one of you in the comments asked me to explain why it can be beneficial to pick grapes during nighttime and make better wine. That's what we want. Is it the sunlight damaging the grapes, or the heat, or the dust, or the bugs? Hello, bonjour, and welcome to your new Bonheur Private Wines video brought to you by the best wine club in America. I'm your host, Julien Miquel, Bordeaux-trained French winemaker. I made wine all around the world for over 15 years, from New Zealand to California, through Spain and Italy, and I did harvest at night a bunch of times, so I can explain what are the advantages. And yes, there's an element of workers' welfare, but definitely not only that, it's grape welfare too. So let's talk about it. In the wide world of viticulture and wine, the timing of the harvest is one of the most critical decisions a winemaker makes. The date when the grapes are picked is crucial, of course, but also the time during the day. While the romantic image of grape picking involves sometimes golden sunlight, the golden hour in the morning filtering through the vines, the reality is that high-quality winemaking often happens under the stars. Harvesting at night, typically between midnight and sunrise, when the temperatures are the lowest, has become a standard practice for premium estates, particularly in warmer climates, of course. So what's the point of all of this, or what are the key points to consider? The primary driver behind nocturnal harvesting is, of course, temperature, more than just sunlight. During the day, grapes absorb significant heat from the sun and reach temperatures well above the ambient air. They can get really hot. When grapes are picked warm, their metabolic processes accelerate. They have a faster metabolism. You get quicker oxidation in particular. Warm berries are highly susceptible to oxidation. You see, it can brown the juice really quickly and destroy those delicate aromas extremely fast. Heat triggers enzymes that live in the juice that begin breaking down the fruit prematurely. If it's cold, those enzymes don't work as fast. Warm skins are also more likely to activate wild yeasts on their surface that can start an uncontrolled fermentation before the grapes even reach the winery. You may get bad bacteria as well developing too, giving the juice bad flavors before you even start really processing the grapes. So if you have warm berries, well, your juice can be ruined in just a moment. By picking at night, the grapes arrive at the crush pad at the winery cool, often between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius or below, 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. This natural refrigeration preserves the fruit's structural integrity and the chemical balance. As winemakers, we get better fruit, cleaner grapes, cleaner bunches. Everything is better when the grapes are picked colder. And this matters for finer styles of wines, which we'll get back to in just a minute. Those white and rosés, that's even more important then. Then cooler grapes are more efficient to process. If grapes arrive at the winery at 30 plus degrees Celsius or 90 plus Fahrenheit, the winemaker must spend significant energy, time and money to chill those grapes down before fermentation can safely begin. We need to use a heat pump and heat transfer. That's a large cost to cool down thousands and thousands of gallons of grape juice. Starting with naturally cooled fruit reduces the winery's carbon footprint, the cost, the energy spending, and ensures the fermentation process starts at the precise controlled temperature and moment that we want. Basically, we winemakers decide when to start the fermentation, and that's important. If the juice is cold, we winemakers can also leave it settle down and clarify in the tanks by itself before we start fermenting it, so we remove anything that's not really clean and unwanted, let it settle at the bottom of the tank and get rid of it. It's the same principle of a fruit juice that you leave in your fridge. You see that the solids will settle down and it'll clarify, and that's what we want. If it's warm, it's not going to do that as well. By the way, if you too have any questions that you'd like me to answer, ask them in the comments below and I might make a video for you in the future. As I hinted at, night harvesting is arguably most vital for white and rosé wines that are wines with finer and more delicate aromas, more fragile wines if you want, because they don't have all those tannins and less antioxidants to start with and protect the wines. These styles rely heavily on also the aromatic finesse, intensity, the freshness, the cleanliness, or the expression of fine, delicate aromas, so preserving aromas, the delicate floral aromas, citrus notes in the grapes, like in a Sauvignon Blanc wine, a Chardonnay, a Pinot Grigio, and all the other grapes and styles of white and rosés is absolutely key for these styles to taste good eventually. High daytime temperatures can cause these aromatics to just be destroyed very, very quickly if the juice is hot or warm. Night picking locks these flavors in and protects them if you wish. Now, color control for rosé, and that's kind of a bit technical for winemaking, but important, so it's really an insight from me. Color control for rosé is also crucial. For rosé, skin contact time is measured in hours. If the grapes are warm, the extraction of color and tannins happens much faster and more aggressively. Cold grapes allow the winemaker to precisely control the color that we want and the bleeding or the extraction of the color that we want out of those red grapes and get this exact elegant salmon hue that we love, rather than a really intense, muddy, extracted pink. If your grapes are warm, you're gonna get a pale and kind of a weak looking red, like it's going to look like a pale weak red and not a rosé, because you've extracted a lot of color and then you've stopped, and it's not going to look that pale rosé that you look for. If it's white, well, it's going to turn brown if the juice is hot, so that's not good either. Beyond the chemistry or the technical winemaking element, there is a human element as well. Harvesting is grueling physical labor in regions like California, Australia, or the south of France, Italy, Spain. Daytime temperatures can be quite dangerous, or at least unbearable for the vineyard crews. Working in the cool night air is safer, more comfortable in some ways, and often leads to more focused and careful picking. The flip side of harvesting at night can cost more because you need to pay the workers more. It can be a bit harder to find those workers, so it's often done with harvesting machines. But picking grapes for whites and rosé wines is more often than not done with machines anyways, rather than hand, because you need to pick large volumes in a quick amount of time and often at night. So you go out with machines during the night, more often than not. And by the way, if you're interested in that machine harvest versus hand picking topic, here's a dedicated video I made about it. You need to watch it, it's fantastic and it explains everything. And another video right here about the impact of sunlight on bottled wine. Keep watching the channel is my point. Show us your support by liking and subscribing, and send me your questions in the comments, and I will see you soon with pleasure in our wonderful world of wine. Cheers.